Other news, Kentucky Supreme Court justices heard arguments over the death penalty today.
Attorneys for 2 death row inmates, one from a Madison County murder case, are arguing actions from the federal level should impact Kentucky law. WKYT's Phil Pendleton has more on what was said today.
This court is now in session.
Justices heard arguments from 2 separate death penalty cases, but essentially the same argument that both did not have effective representation in their penalty phases.
Which is you have to have the extraordinary confluence of events of ineffectiveness with 1142 counsel, and underneath that, ineffectiveness at trial counsel with a substantial claim.
The arguments center around David Sanders and David Matthews. Sanders was convicted of murdering 2 people at a Madison County store in 1987. Matthews was convicted at a 1981 Louisville double murder, and both were sentenced to death.
They ask this court to adopt a federal habeas rule without the safeguards in place for federal habeas proceedings.
The basis for Sanders' argument is that he was a prisoner in his own home, and that was not presented to jurors during the penalty phase of his trial. Also, according to those court filings, he was forced to live in a basement without running water or electricity, and that he was repeatedly beaten. Recent actions by the U.S. Supreme Court are the basis for the arguments before Kentucky's highest court.
So they had been pressing those cases for 10 years in the federal courts, struggling, quite frankly, to get a merits determination on an ultimate trial and effectiveness claim.
The truth-seeking process is completely subverted when litigants are permitted to raise piecemeal litigation over the course of approximately 40 years.
No one has been executed in Kentucky since 2008. The Attorney General has argued for it to start back up, but numerous legal challenges remain, namely over the chemical cocktail used. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
The justices will review these arguments and will issue a ruling at a later date.